believe it or not, I wanted to be a vet because I love animals. But then, of course, I couldn't afford it. Continued to stay in the sciences, chemistry and hence the chemistry and zoology. And then I kind of leant more strongly towards the chemistry, and then continued to shift it to environmental chemistry. And then the opportunity arose here at the Seismic Research Center to monitor volcanoes using the chemistry knowledge that I had. So it brought me into a world of volcanoes from A-levels, and this allowed me to be able to go back to that, initial interest, but in a more expansive way. Given that the program was a new one at the Seismic Research Center, it was the first time that they embarked on MPhil postgraduate degrees in seismology. Well, it was really volcanology first and then seismology after. With myself being the first modern graduate, of course, people would know that Dr. Keith Rowley, the current Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, he was also affiliated with the Seismic Research Center, and he was the first Caribbean-trained geologist, so to speak, to be a director at SRC. And it just so happened that I kind of followed in that kind of a path as well. Her name was Dr. Jan Lindsay, and I have to say that she actually was probably my biggest influence in this field of volcanology so far, in terms of providing that original support, showing me that women do have a role and being a very strong woman in the field. So I would credit my original work and interest in volcanology to Dr. Lindsay. I have seen a growth in terms of the female participation or involvement in this field of research and practice. It was not that strong in the past. There was some, but I think it's very much more evident now than it was in the past. I certainly think in the management area there is a lot of room for, while there's been an improvement in terms of the numbers of researchers and students in the field, certainly on the management side of things, that's still, there's still a lot of work to be done. We have a lot of great examples, not just only in my field, but in other aspects of our society, where women in leadership, is quite strong and provide excellent examples. There's still work to be done. I was very lucky to have benefited, as I said before, working at Seismic from the ground up, so to speak, as a student, working my way up through, participating in all aspects of our operations in the field, administration, outreach, projects, everything and anything that gave me the skills in order to be able to do the job that I currently do. And the timing worked. I certainly have to say that I also did benefit from learning from the previous heads at Seismic, who I can't say that they did not, or they were not willing to share experiences, expertise, knowledge, and still provide feedback, even if they're no longer, some of them are retired and so on. So I was lucky to be part of that journey and to have, the expertise that I did to help kind of, I don't want to say grow me, but more or less to help me to be able to do the job that I do now as the director of SRC. I was quite a professional, and now my sister's, a lot younger, so different times. But at the time I was the first in my family and relatives. So yes, the support definitely was there from my parents and my siblings, and then later on, of course, my husband, to continue in research and in academia. That was the first volcanic eruption that I really had to manage at the top. However, I did have experiences being involved in the management of other activity. We have had not just the eruption of Soufriere Hills in Montserrat, several episodes of unrest and activity there that I've been involved in, because I also, one of the spaces in which we work is in Montserrat, where the Seismic Research Center since 2008, when I graduated with my PhD, took over the management of the Montserrat Volcano Observatory, and that meant we actually physically based with staff on island there. And I was actually, for a year and a half, I was based, in and out on island, having to be part of response to different episodes of unrest at Soufriere Hills. Then, we do have Kikamjani, although it's a submarine volcano. It's actually one of the most active volcanoes in the region, and it has had several episodes of both unrest and eruption while I was here at Seismic, which, we are all part of being involved in the management of these episodes. So it is, there are hazards and risks that we face because of the type of job that we do, managing volcanic eruptions and unrest, as well as response to earthquake activity in the region. So in Montserrat, we were in the field several times with the possibility of pyroclastic flows, or pyroclastic density currents, as the new term, very hot, fast-moving flows of ash and gas, and sometimes we would have to be very close to the dome, working on the flanks of the volcano, collecting data with the possibility of the PDC. So we would have a helicopter close by, but of course these things are very rapid. You cannot outrun them. So if you happen to be caught in it, then you have to know how to respond. So and there is a certain amount of risk. So there were times in the field when we did have flows coming down, and we had to rapidly leave. And then after the flows, when we deemed it was safe enough, sometimes we had to go and sample the material in order to tell, to gain information from the chemical composition of the deposits, whether or not it was fresh magmatic material, whether it was older stuff that came down, and to help understand what was happening with the volcano. And so often going on these flows, remember I said they were hot, there were pockets of gas trapped in there, so we had to be very careful and walk, but you also have to do it in a very speedily way. So to get in, collect your samples and get out. So we've had things like that, and then of course post-eruption of Soufriere, going in to continue the monitoring, and of course seeing some of the devastation and the impacts of that eruption in St. Vincent was another aspect of the job that we do. So these are some of the experiences that I've had in the field. I think it's worth it. Yes, I can't deny that there are lots of challenges, and sometimes you might second guess yourself. But I think, and I've seen it, in many places, women are often the ones who, in many societies, men might be the primary breadwinner, so to speak. They're the ones working, but the women are the ones who run the households. take care of the kids, or responsible for education, and so on. And we also work. So a lot of the society is based on, the influence of women in not only the household, but in societies too. So if we do want to continue to make changes and to see improvements in the quality of life, family life, and so on, I certainly think we should continue, persevering and in leadership roles to help make those changes. Well, it would have been more difficult when my daughter was younger. She is in high school now, so it's a little bit easier. She's a little more independent and could help, and help home stuff with homework and so on. So I definitely relied on, my husband to be able to, fill in the gaps, especially because his work would have doubled when I am not around. So I guess support there from him, and then parents when but my parents didn't live in Trinidad, so that became a little I didn't have that support there. But we managed to work it, and sometimes it would mean that I wouldn't go out, spend less time, and try to do things remotely if possible. But at the end of the day, it's easier now than it was when she was smaller. I'm sure they were aware, but it was not something that I would have discussed with any real detail, because I really would not have wanted them to worry. So much of it I probably dealt with on my own, or more so with my husband rather than my parents. So I really did not try to get into too much detail. I know that they are always concerned, or they were always, but we didn't really look at it like that, because working in this space, we really, and I don't just mean myself, the staff here and at observatories worldwide, Montserrat Observatory everywhere. When your job involves monitoring these hazards, particularly high, low frequency but high hazard events or activity, we do come to our own. Yes, we practice field safety as much as possible. We try to minimize risks and have systems and protocols in place, but accidents can happen, and of course we're dealing with nature, so there's some uncertainty there. So we try to minimize the risk as best as possible, but unfortunately, in different parts of the world, in response to eruptions and so on, there has been loss of life, and it is something we're aware of. But we try to be as careful as we can in the field to try to minimize those risks.